Nuclear launch detected.
And that is music to my ear. What's up guys, Mike here. I guess we all grew up playing StarCraft, and this nuclear launch detective really got into my brain. That's why I wanted to make nuclear launch in our game as well, and that's the reason I call the game Nuke Them All. Capturing flag is fine, but there must be some sort of chaos, some sort of a big explosion, something really fun, high risk and high reward. And nuclear bomb will be just that. So in this video, I'm going to show you how we add nuclear launch into our game without any coding skills whatsoever, just with the tools of AI, ChatGPT, Midjourney, and of course making our game in the engine called Construct 3, which is perfect for development of 2D games. If you follow our video series, we did quite a good progress so far. We already implemented the map, unit controls, fighting, and this nuclear bomb will be a cherry on top of the pie and add a lot of fun and predictability to our game. So let me show you how I did it. Whew. Nuclear launch consists of 3 objects, so let's get our assets first. We need nuclear bomb, which is a rocket. We need nuclear explosion mushroom, the big one, the big boom. We need the shockwave, and of course extra we need nuclear silo, a building where the rocket will be coming out. The idea is the following. Let's say let's say this is a rocket. When we drag and drop our nuclear target to the place, the silo will spawn the rocket, which will fly 90 degrees into the sky, back up in space, and then it will go down and crash straight into the head of the enemies, destroy everything there, which is really cool, but there is a catch to it. The enemies can actually destroy the rocket, so you have to be very careful how and when and where you launch it, because this is a high risk, high reward system. If you lose the whole nuclear bomb, there will be no explosion, so treat wisely. In Midjourney we need following assets. First we need the nuclear bomb. And this is really difficult because Midjourney has no idea what is the rocket is, and it's not really designed to work with army elements, missiles, rockets, nuclear stuff. So it was doing this sort of abomination here. And even worse, I mean, what the hell is this, guys? So Melissa and I had to sit through hours trying to find the correct prompt to get the funny but good looking nuclear bomb. And to be honest, we couldn't do anything. I was given all sorts of references, all sorts of ROMs. It just doesn't understand what a nuclear bomb is and how it can be funny. It keeps doing this all the nonsense. Finally, I was able to find a hack. I asked Midjourney to describe what this is actually. Maybe if it describes, then it will learn what it is. So there is a describe feature, and then you upload the image and it will give you textual prompt. And then using this prompt, I ask him to recreate it back, and look at this. Now this is much better. It's looking much better now, more refined. We gave it a few more tries and now it's looking much better. See? Now we're talking. So after a lot of trial and error, we were able to come close to the rocket that really fits the style of our game. It looks really good. I really love this one. And this one. Next we need explosion mushroom. This was a little bit easier because for some reason Midjourney is very good at creating nuclear explosions. So everything was created in Midjourney, and I created several variations of this. Like this, like this, like this, like this. So we have nuclear explosion in different combinations. And then we need a shockwave which is coming out after the explosion. Again, with Midjourney I came up with this solution after a few hours of trying playing around with the prompts. Now the silo, the building where the bomb is coming from, was another difficult story. Midjourney just doesn't understand what nuclear bomb is, what's this whole concept of the rocket coming out of the ground. For some reason it's really peaceful. But some sort of a furnace, after a lot of trial and error, we came up with the idea of this sort of furnace, so the rocket is coming out of this furnace. And you see we gave it a lot of tries. And everything just doesn't make any sense. A lot of tries. So you have to keep on trying, refining your prompts, and sooner or later you get to the point where you like something and you can use it. Now we go to construct tree, the place where we design our game. We create elements, objects, types, which are just sprites. There's nothing special here. Like anything else, we create the mushroom, and mushroom is a regular sprite which will have several animations, and we will be picking different animations based on different just randomly. We use the function called choose. Oh, my eyes hurt, I apologize that. I've been a little bit sick lately. We will use the function called choose, which will automatically select the correct animation randomly. This way our explosions will be different each time. Then we have the shockwave, which is just one. And pay attention, they are not animated. We are not going to be creating animation because Midjourney for now cannot create animations. And we don't really need it. We'll be using other tools. Let me show you what we're using on the mushroom to animate it. On mushroom I'm using behaviors called sign and fade, and that's more than enough for us to animate the mushroom. If you can see, sign, I'll do preview. It's just doing this massive growing if I enable the sign, and you can see the settings here. And also we're using fade, so it fades away later with time. So that's all we need, and we use similar on our shockwave. Now let's get to the rocket. Where is our silo? I put it somewhere here. Here, yeah. So this is the silo and the bomb. Where's the bomb? Okay, in the bomb, which is a bullet. And you can see here, we tried first this abomination, and then the real thing has two origin points, the nose and image point 1, which is the fire is coming from. And again, I'm applying several behaviors on the bomb. Rotate, so it's wobbling around a little bit. Pin, to make sure we can pin the fire coming off it. Drag and drop, we don't need. And then move to move the rocket. I'm also not using this, I've been doing some experiment. Bullet, that's the one we use. And again sign and sign 2, which will be doing randomization of animation of the bomb a little bit, so it's bouncing around. And you can see settings on the left. You can pause if you want. I will not waste time now covering all of them. Next we'll need nuclear sign, which is here. This is just a sprite and its behaviors is drag and drop. So quickly let me explain what we are doing here. The idea for us is to have a nuclear silo in the middle of the map, so each team can capture it, and you capture it by capturing the flag that is around it, the same way we capture other buildings in the game. So for example, if our red team captures this flag, the silo will become ours, and then every, for example, 30 seconds will be generated with a nuclear bomb. it will appear on the screen, and you can simply drag and drop where you want to fire the bomb. That's all, very simple concept. Hope it makes sense. So now let's program it. For now I have unlimited amount of nuclear bombs just for testing purposes. I haven't implemented the logic about capturing and the logic about limiting amount of bombs. So let's just take it easy, one step at a time. So let's find the code. Okay, here's the code of nuclear. As you can see, I did a lot of experiments because this is the most important element of the whole game. So we have to make it right, we make the way to work and appear really beautiful and impressive. So on creation of a nuclear explosion, we make a few effects. I'll talk about them later. Let's keep this for now. We're applying several effects on our screen just to make it even cooler. So I set the damage. We set visible nuclear explosion. Some of the lines I disabled because I was testing if it will look better or worse with them. It's good sometimes to experiment. Then we create a light cone, which creates just effect like we have some sort of flash. Then we create particle fire and particle spark. If you want settings, you can check previous videos where we were creating them in our game. Then we create decal hole, which is a huge hole on the ground. We make it really big. We choose one of the random holes. Then we move it to the bottom of the layer to make sure that it's not overlapping our mushroom. Then we change settings for our sparks and fire. Then we shake the camera shake with a huge magnitude. We shake everything for a few seconds. Then we create our mushroom in the position of nuclear explosion. We choose random mushroom animation over here, one of the 4 frames. We put it higher to make sure it's high in the sky and it's not behind anything. Then we create the shockwave, which will come out. Then we enable effect on the screen called warp ripple. This is a very cool effect I found, which disturbs the whole screen, not just the sprite, but the whole screen of the game, and makes some sort of ripple coming like a shockwave. It looks really cool. Again, we move shockwave higher. We create all sorts of smoke, spark, debris. Okay. Then we destroy some. We create a sound of rocks destroying, so it's just cracks around. And then we start the process of fading everything away. So we start fading mushroom, we start fading away shockwave, we wait some time, we hide nuclear explosion, and then we just fade the rest. And finally I disable all the effects that I put on the screen. That's a lot of stuff, I know, because I've been experimenting with this for days and days to make sure it works up to the way I desire. I put so much effort in this one because this is the biggest element of Nuke Them All game, to make sure we get the nuke right. It has to look really good, even though we are doing indie beginner game, but this element has to look cool. I think you would agree. So you can pause and check all the settings if you want. And then I put it on keyboard N just for testing purposes, so I can call an explosion anytime I want. And then we cover the bomb, nuclear bomb. When it's created, we move it to the top layer. It spawns the particle big fire out of it. We pin the fire to the bomb to make sure it stays together, and then it flies in the code below. Let's scroll down. Now the sign on the drag and drop. So we drag the sign and drop it where we want to shoot the bomb. Now we start applying the effects on the screen: vignette, skyline, scan lines. We choose the sound saying like nuclear launch detected, like in StarCraft. And then our silo is going to spawn the bomb itself and some particles. Then we put the correct angles for the particles, and then the bomb is going to fly high in the sky to the outer space. Then it turns around there after 8 seconds and crashes down into position of our where we wanted to hit it, the position of the sign. Actually, if you move the sign, I think it will move the position of the bomb as well, but not sure about that. Okay, and finally we need to check if we need to explode it. This was quite difficult, that's why I added the global variable called Nuke check for explosion. So first we set it when we are not ready for explosion at 0, and later when we are ready for explosion we set it as 1. This will make sure that bomb doesn't explode too fast. We don't want the bomb to come out and then explode right away. We want some time to fly up and then down. And when the bomb is exploded, we just create an object of nuclear explosion, and we destroy the bomb itself and run some sounds. Now we need to calculate the deduction of the health. So mushroom will deduct the health of all the enemies. And then, very cool. I really wanted nuclear bomb to be high risk, high reward element. If bomb is invincible, like in other games like StarCraft, you cannot kill the bomb itself. You could kill the ghost that was targeting it, but the bomb itself, it didn't have any health. In our case, the bomb will have some health. So if you're targeting the bomb very poorly, for example, you're asking the bomb to fly through the huge amount of enemies, you're trying to be too greedy, they can actually shoot back, and because the bomb is flying so slow, on purpose in our game, they can actually destroy the bomb, and the detonation will not work. So if they kill the bomb before it exploding, then it's just pukes, like fart sound, you know, like pook, and that's it. And there is no explosion. So you have to target really well to make sure this works. And I think this is one of the most important elements for me in this game, to make sure that you're using nuclear bomb wisely instead of just putting it all over the place and exploding everything without any thought. Finally, here we're killing the bomb in case of enemies destroyed it. So it's not going to detonate, it's just saying the sound of fart, like, and then we play the sound nuclear launch aborted or failed, you know, and then we know that we can try it all over again. And as a special icing on the cake, I found effects that will help you to sell the idea of the nuclear explosion much better. It's called layer effects. We choose the layer, right click and choose effects. And no, not here. Oh yeah, we click the layer 0 for example, and then on the left we can choose effects. See? Add edit effects. And you can add more effects here. There are like hundreds of them. You can experiment. But what I added? I add vignette. Let me quickly show what they do. When enabled, vignette will put a tension around it, like nuclear launch detected, and then there is tension. You're really focused. Next, we add scan lines. This sort of military scan lines, so it's like nuclear launch detected. It's like a radar. It makes you really focused and tense. Now, when nuclear launch finally starts, we added sepia to make everything like radiated, less color. And we also apply warp ripple, which distorts the whole game and makes these animated ripple effects like radiation coming. And everything together, if you put it right, I think it looks really well. So, with that being said, let's check out the final result. And let me comments below, what do you think about it? Let's nuke them all.
Mayday! Taking fire! Warning, nuclear launch detected. Moving out! teach them a lesson. Get over here. We require more Bespin gas.
They're making warning, nuclear launch detected.
Mayday! Taking fire! Rather have a beer! Orders received!
Robots manufactured.
Awaiting orders, sir! Let's
Okay,
nuke them
fine.
all! Ready and waiting! Mission accomplished! Nice one! Good game! Yeah! We are the champions! We're under attack!